Kurukshetra, a land where war was not fought by weapons alone, but through a brutal clash between destiny, dharma, and human conscience. This was the land where words had fallen silent and silence itself had begun to speak. 7 Parvas had passed. Grandsire Bhishma lay upon his bed of arrows. Acharya Drona had fallen on the battlefield. The Mahabharata had now reached a turning point where every decision would become irreversible. This was the 8th Parva, the Parva of Karna. The sun burned fiercely in the sky, as if it already knew that today its own sun would set just like itself. An eerie stillness hung over the Kaurava camp. Their heroes had dwindled, their armies were exhausted, and Duryodhana, wounded not as much in body as in spirit. Again and again, his gaze returned to a single warrior, Karna, the one the world called a charioteer's son, the one who endured humiliation all his life, yet never once did he allow his bow to bend. Duryodhana knew, if there was anyone left who could still change the course of this war, it was Karna alone. And in that moment, Duryodhana declared Karna the supreme commander of the Kaurava army. For the first time, Karna did not stand in anyone's shadow. He stood as the leader. Yet there was no pride on his face, no celebration, only a deep, quiet calm, the calm of one who senses his own end. That night, Karna stood alone. The battlefield was silent, but within him raged a storm. Then a voice echoed in his memory, "You are my eldest son, Kunti." The truth had finally been revealed, but far too late. Karna realized that the honor he had longed for all his life had always been his by birth. But now, that truth could change nothing. Karna rejected his mother's plea. He refused to join the Pandavas. But he made a vow, "I shall kill only Arjuna, no other son of yours." In that moment, destiny began writing its final lines. Dawn broke. The conch shells sounded. Kurukshetra awakened once more. Karna arranged the Kaurava formations. Beside him stood Ashwatthama, son of Drona, Kripacharya, the aged witness of countless wars, and on his chariot, King Shalya of Madra, a charioteer bound by compulsion, whose words wounded Karna more deeply than weapons ever could. Across the field stood the Pandavas. Yudhishthira bowed beneath the weight of dharma, Bhima burning with rage and oath-bound fury, Nakula and Sahadeva, symbols of restraint and valor, and Arjuna, upon whose chariot stood Lord Krishna himself. Where Krishna stands, war is fought not merely with weapons, but with strategy and with righteousness. The war began. The sky filled with arrows, the earth trembled under the charge of chariots. Karna's bow roared. His arrows descended upon the battlefield like annihilation itself. One by one, kings fell, armies shattered. That day, Karna did exactly what the world had always expected of him, yet never wished to witness. Nakula and Sahadeva were defeated before him, but Karna spared their lives. A mother's word was honored. Bhima charged at Karna with terrifying force. Mace and arrows collided. For a moment, the battlefield itself seemed to pause. But in the end, Bhima was forced to retreat. Yudhishthira too, wounded, withdrew from the war. Hope surged within the Kaurava ranks. Duryodhana smiled again. But Karna knew, as long as Arjuna lived, this war was meaningless. Shalya's words continued to unsettle him, praising Arjuna, comparing them, seeking to fracture Karna's resolve. But Karna remained silent. One who has endured humiliation all his life does not break from words. Then Krishna gave the signal. Arjuna's chariot advanced towards Karna. 2 supreme archers stood face to face. One, to whom the world had given everything. The other, from whom the world had taken everything. The great duel began. Divine weapons were unleashed. The sky seemed to tear apart. The earth shook violently. Karna encircled Arjuna. For a moment, it appeared that Arjuna's end was inevitable. Then Krishna pressed the chariot slightly into the earth. Death returned from just a few inches away. Suddenly, Karna's chariot wheel sunk into the ground. An ancient curse given years ago by a Brahmin awakened. Karna descended from the chariot. Unarmed, he struggled to lift the trapped wheel. Arjuna watched. Karna spoke. This is adharma. Remember the laws of war. For a moment, Arjuna's hand trembled. Then Krishna spoke. When Draupadi was stripped, where was dharma? When Abhimanyu was slain through deceit, where were the rules? This is not anger. This is justice. Arjuna raised the Anjalika Astra. Karna stood firm, unshaken, unmoving. He accepted life exactly as it had been given to him. The arrow was released. The sun dimmed. Karna fell. The son of sun merged into the sun itself. The battlefield stood frozen. Even the wind seemed to stop. Duryodhana shattered. Kunti fell silent. Krishna closed his eyes. The war was yet not over, but the Mahabharata's most tragic tale had reached its end. Karna Parva is not a story of victory. It is the story of duty and destiny, humiliation and honor, man and fate. Karna was neither a perfect hero nor a complete villain. He was human, and therefore he is immortal.